All right. Oh, I'll have to catch up on it. All right, work session is ready to begin. First project is 311 South Elm. Any comments from the board?
I think it's fine. I just made a suggestion. It might be nice to add vertical grills to those rear windows that are shortened to make them look like the top sashes of the existing windows. That was just a suggestion.
Yeah, Bob, I wanted to know if the trim around the new windows are gonna match existing. I didn't see any notes or
Okay.
indication of what the details there were, or anything, and then wonder if I assume the new shingles are gonna match existing too, so I would think.
All right.
I had no comments.
My only question was, I assume the stucco the same, that's, there's something similar. Like that.
At the foundation? Mm-hmm.
Shows that. But I wasn't always sure.
Microphone.
Oh, sorry. Because this one over here, well, I wasn't totally sure. I just wondered, it was just a deep. I assume that's.
Right. Okay.
No.
Question about the foundation finish
Yeah, just like what it looks like compared to
existing.
the existing foundation there.
All right. Anything else? I didn't have any comments on that one. Next, we have 135 North Bompard Avenue rear deck. Comment from the board.
I have a question. The drawings make reference to the piers being hidden behind a fascia board, and I was wondering what the proposed material of the fascia is.
Bob, the only thing I had was, I know we always talk about closing off the bottoms of the decks, with lattice work. It looks like this is pretty close to grade, so I don't know if that's even an issue or not, but I don't know what the rest of it's gonna look like, so. And that's my only comment there.
Yeah, I think I had a similar comment. I wasn't sure if there'd be some sort of trim board. Sometimes that's like a finish board to finish off the edge.
Right.
All right, any other comments?
No, I had nothing.
Okay. Next, we have 1303 Belton Avenue. This was a window replacement on the front. I think we looked at this last week, but the applicant wasn't here.
That's correct. Do we want to review the comments again? Just
Sure.
in case they didn't hear them.
Yeah,
I think this is a really nice house, and the articulation of the existing fenestration on the front elevation especially really makes it. I think that that window, if it were changed to a picture window, I think you would lose an awful lot of character of the house. And I also think that the shutters would look quite out of place if that is changed to a picture window. I just was wondering if they would consider keeping that front window size and style as it is, because it is such a character defining feature of the house.
Yeah, Carol, that was my same comment I had. It changes the character of the house is what they're doing. I also have some issue with, how this was put together. I had a hard time reading some things, particularly on the photographs, to kind of figure out what's going on here. So, I'd like to see a little better graphics and organization on these submittals. So we can kind of figure out, what's going on and not have to waste a lot of time trying to, decipher this. So anyway.
Yeah, I agree with Carol and Chuck. And then if they were to think about removing the shutters to try to help that, I don't think the brick would respond very well to the shutters being removed, just seeing holes and patching.
Mhm.
all that.
All right, anything else? Can move on then. Next to discuss is 675 West Lockwood detached garage. We have amended plans on that one.
This one?
Yeah, I didn't have any comments. I think it looks fine.
We're not leaving much after demo.
Oh, the 634? Oh, wait, which one are we looking?
675 West Lockwood.
Oh, this one's pre-approved. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so there were some revisions to the original plans. I think they were clouded.
Yeah, I didn't see this at first, so, but so this dormer is all, making the dormer with 3 fixed
Mm-hmm.
windows like that?
That's
Yeah, the
what's
shed
changed-
dormer.
It's changed to this, though, right?
Oh, I thought it was the other way around. Which way is it?
That's clouded, so I'm assuming that's what's revised. So,
This is how it's gonna look now?
yes, okay.
So I prefer it how it was there with the 3 dormers. This doesn't really match the style of everything else. So maybe they could, if they want to get like headroom inside there, get the space, maybe they could do something a little bit different there. That was my only comment, like that doesn't, I don't know. There's a lot of options of different things they could do
Right.
to make it blend in a little bit better. So
Something with grills or casements or something that.
something, yeah, change the style of the windows a little, or, you could always make it look like the 2 dormers connected by a shed or something so that it doesn't, I don't know. To me, it doesn't fit with the rest of the garage. The rest of it's rather nice. And then you have this part that is,
No, I agree with you, Angela. I had the same comment. And I just think I liked it the way it was before. And I thought these windows now are kind of out of character with what's going on with the rest of the house. So I have the same comment that you had.
I agree, but also it is facing the rear yard to the north, so it is not street fronting. If that's not
can
argument.
our neighbors see it?
Yeah.
They'll see it a lot more than people driving by. So,
They like their neighbors. and Okay.
so, there's a lot of different ways they could do it to blend it in a little.
Right.
I don't want to say what they're going to do.
Right.
All right, we'll discuss that one. Next we have 501 Oak Street fence. That's the fence appeal,
Oh,
front yard fence.
For me, this bare galvanized wire is not appealing at all. To me, it's not, no more appealing than chain link would be in a wood frame. There's a house that's on South Rock Hill that's, as you're going toward Gravois, that's in another jurisdiction that has this kind of fence in the front yard and in the side, and it's looks jarringly inappropriate to the neighborhood. And I really don't feel that this is suitable for a type of fencing that would be approved in the front yards. I just not there.
So just as a quick clarification, you are not approving this as a new fence that can be in everybody's front yards. They are asking it for specifically for their particular lot and there's 2 ways you can approve an appeal.
Okay,
So this is not an appeal to add it to the approved set of fences. This is just for their particular property, architecturally for their particular location. So just throwing it out there.
Okay, thank you. But let me ask you this, would that then set a precedent of some sort?
Does
for-
not.
Okay.
Nope. Each individual person has to come in and say why that works for their particular house, yard, and other things. And that appeal is just for their particular piece of property. You've only approved, I think, one other like this, where architecturally, I say you, it's been a while. It's been a really long while since you all approved one. But architecturally, they had a house and they wanted something that had these slatted pieces that kind of went at an angle that matched an architectural detail on the house.
Mhm.
That's the only other time that I remember that we've approved one like this. So it's just for their particular property and not inclusion in everybody can ask for this one.
Okay, thank you.
Additional comments on the fence? Myself, I didn't really have an issue with it, especially where it was going on the lot. And architecturally, it's, it's a little more, I would say, contemporary, but that's my comment.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with it. If there was a compromise, to make it blend in more, maybe, could that welded wire be black, like the chain link fences that disappear? But that wouldn't be necessary for me to approve it. Also, this side street only has one other house on it. It'd be hard for me to call it a front yard, really, quite honestly, just from knowing where it's at.
I think the change in color that you're suggesting would help a lot, rather than having the bare galvanized wire. If it was black,
Right.
I think that would give it a much better appearance.
Yeah, I agree with David. I think that's a good point. And Carol, your comment about, the change in color, I think is going to help this quite a bit. So.
So, yeah, I agree with that. I was kind of wondering a little bit exactly what they're intending for it to look like, if it's this picture or like a rendering.
Mm,
I do like the wood around it will help with its appearance and making the, wire mesh grid, black would really actually help quite a lot. So I was just sort of wondering exactly what the, wood part is going to look like. And while it might not always be there, I was also wondering if their intention is for things to grow on it. That's the idea.
I think there's a comment on.
Yeah, because
The written statement.
Yeah,
it's
they-
kind of a comment, but.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I was sort of like, so is that the idea that they would
Mm,
plant things for it to all grow there?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of English ivy down that street,
Yeah,
so
Which-
I imagine it would probably just stay. I would think.
which would also help,
Mhm.
even though plants go away, but come and go. But it would.
And even if they do intend to use it as a planting background, I think that the change of color to black would help the planting stand out more. You know what I mean? The planting would be the star rather than reflection off of a silver type fence,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, a black coated mesh might just be a little more appealing.
Okay. We can discuss that one. And then the last one on our list for the work session is Euclid Avenue. Just as a general comment myself, I felt like a lot of the side elevations were missing fenestration. I realize that they're close to each other, but a lot of the homes in Webster are close to each other. I personally, when I looked at that was my main concern with these, that stood out.
I agree, Bob. And when I took a preliminary look through it, I was like, wow, this is a lot of blank siding. But then going carefully through the drawings, there's many instances where there's windows shown on the plan, but not the elevation, and vice versa. So there's sometimes where it's like on these, this size house, there may be 4, 5, 6 elements that weren't accurately represented. So it was really time consuming to try to review. And when the elevations don't have the windows drawn, we don't know the size or the type that's being proposed.
Mhm.
So I think the drawings need to be a lot more coordinated and developed and
yeah.
resubmitted because there's so much information that's just not there.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Or tracking, like if you see something on the east elevation, you track to the north, the item that projected off the elevation is not shown, so you don't really see what's going on. Also, I noticed that the site plan, the building layout proximities didn't match the architectural site plan.
Yeah, and the footprints don't match
Yeah.
the architectural
Right.
plan.
And I didn't know,
Oh,
I
true.
didn't know which is more current.
Yeah,
I
Yeah.
assume architecture is more current, but I assume.
I was also missing one set of elevations. I don't know if
Oh.
anybody else was. but I had,
I stopped reviewing after the first two because there was so much
missing.
missing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, I have a plan for 4 and elevations for 5 and
Mm.
the other 2 sheets of paper. And because I was noticing that as I went along, that there were missing things. And yeah, so I had the same comment. Overall, the general overall development seems to be going fine.
Mhm.
The idea, but I really needed more of coordination in the drawings.
I know the RV is supposed to be colorblind. But with the homes in so much close proximity. What could we advise or think about what they're gonna propose? Because if you get too many houses close together, there's so much different colors, it becomes like a carnival of finishes versus something, things that are more subtle. But if they're spread apart, then they could be more colorful and unique, but smushed together might be jarring. I don't know if we have any say over that or if there's, no, I mean, okay, just something.
Color?
I know, just the thing, I mean, don't think about it, because this is a unique thing.
Mhm.
which-
Right, because of the.
I was thinking that a little bit with the materials, of maybe try to keep the, because at some, well, are these vinyl siding? But at some point, I mean, people might want different color. Whatever,
Yeah,
and maybe keep all the materials the same. I personally, just a minute, prefer the porch columns to not be the tapered column of,
I agree.
that's not, that's just sort of a, I guess, it looks too much like a spec home here in Webster that way. So maybe do something that's more of a traditional home in Webster column, and
Right.
put it on all
Yeah.
of them, and then do the changes somehow, other way.
And this is always a recurring thing with me is that where the materials start and stop, like,
Uh-huh.
if the stone could rather than not stop at the corner board, but wrap to the chimney bump out, it'd be a better place to stop it.
Yeah,
It's small, but
right, like,
looks
and the
better.
stone could go around to the porch or something, I don't know if it
Yeah.
does, it doesn't show.
right, there was one where the porch is instead, so if it goes into the porch rather than stopping there. Well, on that same elevation, the front door is missing, so.
Yeah, the front doors.
Also, I had noted, I wasn't sure if the front porches themselves, I don't know if those are poured concrete or if there's some sort of finish for the face. I don't, maybe there was a note on there. Oh, I do see a note now here. It's concrete foundation. It just wasn't clear on some of the drawings.
So I guess, yeah, for my biggest thing from a preliminary standpoint,
Mhm.
they needed to coordinate everything, add some windows, I thought the same thing, and maybe just get like a particular style or something so that you don't have this kind of I don't know. I guess it makes me feel like the track home thing. They get their little funny differences. And this isn't track homes. It shouldn't be. It should look a little bit, it's going to look like a complex,
Mhm.
right? Because they're so close together. They share a driveway.
You got the arts and crafts package by getting the tapered columns. You know, that kind of, you know, you,
Right, the
Yeah.
arts and crafts out of Chicago or California.
or wherever.
Right. So I don't know. Or not. Terrible.
Yeah, I mean, I think I like the variety of the architecture. I'm not sure where I stand on the column thing. I guess they're showing different column types, right? Three different,
Yeah, they're all different.
yeah, they're all different. You're saying maybe there could be consistency.
I don't, and I'm not sure
Yeah.
what it is, but a little something there. I
Mm.
like how they did the smaller siding and the larger siding combo and a couple of things like that of differences, you know.
Mhm.
There's some other differences. Seems fine, but trimming things out nicely. Good to see.
All right, anything else?
I think they put a lot of thought and work into the front elevations to make them, give them some variety, but have common elements. And I'd like to see more of that thought brought to the other sides of each house.
That, you know, maybe that's even part of it. It's kind of like it doesn't continue them all being right there near each other, maybe a bit more of a, because they're all right there together with the sides and everything together. It's just to
And-
have the front one way. That's different.
And especially the way they're sited, some people are going to be looking at the front of their house to the side of somebody else's house or to the back of somebody else's house, you know, just because of I mean, I think they handled the site design well, but I think it's important to keep neighbor to neighbor view and what they'll be looking at in mind as the other three elevations are developed.
All right. Well, with that, we'll take a short recess and we'll begin the official meeting promptly at 5:30. All right.
Okay.
5:30, official meeting is now underway. Welcome. Introduce Yolanda Wilkins and Jim Bailey with the city. We have Carol Dunkey, Angela Thompson, David Yates, Chuck Yannicki, and myself, all volunteer architects that sit on the board. First item of business is review of meeting minutes from May 2nd. I believe 4 of us are here. So with that, may I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the May 2nd meeting minutes as submitted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Meeting minutes have been approved. Next, we have a few pre-approvals. So I'll ask for a motion. I ask board members to refer to the handout from Mara and staff. First one is 634 Mildred Avenue. I have a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve 634 Mildred Avenue with the following understandings. The screen door will be vinyl and the middle rail of the door will align with the top of the railing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Mildred Avenue is approved. Next, we have 1415 Wexford Avenue.
I make a motion to approve 1415 Wexford as submitted with the following understandings. The tops of the windows will align with the existing header for the 2 sets of French doors and will be centered in that wall. The wall being installed below the window will have matching siding.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Wexford Avenue is approved. And then 251 South Old Orchard Avenue. May I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve 251 South Old Orchard Avenue with the following understandings. All corner trim pieces will match the size and profile of the existing house. Window trim will be 1-inch vinyl J channel to match the existing J channel trims at the existing windows of the home.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Old Orchard Avenue is approved. All right, at this point, if we call your project, we'll ask that you come forward, introduce yourself at the microphone here, and we'll discuss your project. We have a couple of public hearings first. The first project is 311 South Elm. Anyone here for that?
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Scott Volding with Volding Architecture, and I'm representing Dan and Kate Rodenfels for their proposed addition to the back of their house. Per your work comments, we will add the vertical mullions to those shortened windows. We will match the window trim to the existing window trim, and we will terminate that stucco to match the existing termination.
Okay,
Any other
Thanks, Scott.
questions or?
I don't think so. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
It's a public hearing. Are there any other persons that want to make a comment about 311 South Elm? And seeing no one, may I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve 311 South Elm with the following understandings. Vertical window grills will be added to the shortened windows on the rear to match the existing window top sashes. The window trim will match the existing, and the termination of the stucco at the concrete will match the existing condition.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, Scott, you're approved. You're welcome. Next, we have 135 North Bompart Avenue, rear deck.
Hello, Todd Miller, homeowner. Hello.
Down. Is there going to be any finish trim around the deck?
Yes, there'll be a PVC trim, cut the
Okay.
length to match to get to the grade.
Okay.
The grade will be close off then from that point down the
Yes.
grade then, right? Okay.
Great. Any other comments from the board?
And then full grade is concrete all around.
The front is, concrete, the rest is, dirt, yeah. Mhm. The front where the patios, patio pavers, I should say.
Right.
Okay. All right, well, I think that takes care of our questions. Thanks for clarifying.
You're welcome.
Anyone else present want to make a comment on 135 North Bompart? Seeing no one, may I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve 135 North Bompard as submitted with the understanding there will be a vinyl skirt or apron from the top of the deck down to grade.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, Tom, you're approved. Good night. Next, we have 1303 Belton Avenue window replacement.
Hey there, Tom Wazolowski, I'm the homeowner.
Welcome.
I got your comments last week, so I actually put together some pictures of what we're trying to do here.
Okay.
I'm pleased to get an idea of what we're trying to do. So as you received that, the top picture is what's currently there.
Uh-huh.
The middle picture is what we're trying to do. And then the bottom pictures, if we did a grid system to the current, if we did add the open window that we're trying to do, then the bottom would be the grid added.
Yeah.
We'd like to move forward with the middle window for energy efficiency, more natural light in the house, and it just makes the living room feel bigger.
All right. Um, I think there were some general comments, just that, you know, there's a lot of character that the window style has for the house, so that the picture window kind of takes away a little bit of that scale and character of the house.
Yeah.
Um,
I get that. I also run a lot in Webster, so this morning I actually witnessed 5 houses that have similar windows, and I thought it looked good. I took some pictures, and I did not print those off. But I think it would look good. My buddy, he's lived here his whole life. I had him check it out. He wrote us a letter if you guys would want to see that, but he thought it would look good as well, and he's been here his whole life.
So I don't know if you heard us mention, but the shutters don't go with the window if you change it that way, but it looks awkward because they don't work like that. So it looks, but yet we did take the shutters off the house would be unfortunate because it adds a little character. And then as said before, that, you know, you'd have to clean up the holes from the shutters and so forth. And then putting a grill that doesn't match the other windows. Do other windows in your house have are they 3/1 like the other window here in the front?
Yes, there is. So
So they don't
window
have
to the left.
a grill. All the other windows just have a vertical
it's like a double, hang,
muntin.
like the mullion in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
mhm.
So our other windows I would like to replace, but we can't currently because of the ordinance that it's not wide enough to be an exit from each room to room. So this is the only window left in the house that I can actually replace. So if you guys were to motion that we'd have to go back with double hung windows, I just wouldn't replace them. It's another $1,000 to do that. I get what you're saying. The houses that I saw today also had the same shutters on the right and left side, and it looks fine to me.
Well,
Would there be a precedent set if we allow a picture window then to put pictures everywhere else in the future?
I mean, I think really the board, you know, we look at every project in its own context, is the way I see it, so.
and so the reason you want to do it is simply because you are thinking it's going to provide a lot more light?
Energy efficiency is a big thing too. Those windows are, I think, original to the house, so you can feel the air coming
They're
in.
original to the house.
Mm-hmm.
Are they wood windows?
Yes.
They are.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have aluminum storm windows by any chance?
Not that I know of.
Right. So from a sustainability standpoint, you would be better off holistically keeping wood windows and putting in aluminum storm windows. That would be a better sustainability thing to do. So, and I believe you're proposing, are these vinyl windows? or-
Vinyl.
Yeah, so vinyl all by itself is not a sustainable product. While you might want some energy efficiency and so forth, and I don't know the condition of your windows, but if you're just going to go with sustainability, you'd keep your windows and install aluminum storm windows. And then you would have a much more efficient thing. And that is what would be the most sustainable thing to do.
I mean, besides that, it's the natural lighting too. Our living room's small. It's a 1,000 square foot house. So opening that up to the outside is a big thing. We have 2 dogs. I love to look out the window. Right now, it's it's not the greatest for us too. Yeah, it's just, I love the house. I'm not trying to mess anything up, and I love Webster Groves, just trying to better the home. We put a lot of money into the house too, to make it better, so thought this would help.
So I appreciate that you do want to do this. And I understand that's, it's your house. I appreciate that you live in the house and you're taking care of the house. You know, but for me, the appearance of it is just much better with the 2 double hung windows there.
I understand that's your prerogative. I understand.
So
Yeah.
I'm sorry, yeah.
Yeah, no, I
And
don't take offense to it.
your house is on a corner, is it not?
Yes.
So,
Mhm.
the rear elevation and the side elevation are visible,
Yes,
as you drive around the
yes, I'm right behind the
house.
firehouse, right
Yeah.
there on Elm and
Mm.
Beach
Yeah.
Rose.
So, you know, that would be a kind of a continuity thing too, since you have your other 3/1s and they're visible from the street, both on the rear and the side, and then also on the front. So,
We did replace 2 of the windows in our kitchen that you could see from our backyard and you see from the side of my house that are more energy efficient, and they're sliding windows now instead of what the old one was kind of, they like open out. They're very inefficient. So we replaced those to newer, and that was approved. It's the same window company. They did a great job there. So it's kind of the last window we could do that would make sense. If we went back with double hung, I would just leave it as is because it's another $1,000 tacked on there. So I don't think we would see anything different there. So.
All right, any other comments from the board?
Well, the only other thing I was gonna say is if you wanted to go ahead and replace these windows, to, look at the entire opening and go back in with a pair of double hungs where that center piece is a smaller piece of trim that connects the 2 windows. If that, architecturally, I think that would help to mimic the rest of the house, but
Mhm.
also solve your problem in terms of your energy loss. And of course, Angela's point's well taken, is that if you want to be sustainable, going back to, the storm windows and how do these operate?
No, I don't open them. I mean, you can open them, but there's nothing stopping the wind and everything coming in. There's nothing there that when you keep them open, my dogs would just jump out. So,
You don't know if the counterweights are still connected or if
I mean, if
anything-
you try to lift it up, it doesn't stay up.
They
So I
just
mean,
fall.
there's,
Okay.
yeah,
All
so,
right, so they're,
yeah, so it's,
Yeah.
those,
They need some repairs.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that can actually be, corrected with spring clips
Yeah.
that you can buy at Home Depot. I did it myself on my old wood double hung windows, and I'm not that handy, and I did manage to do it myself and it works. So
Gotcha.
and they're very inexpensive.
Yeah.
So that would solve that. And then also to Angela's point, if you were to put storms on there, you can actually get storms that would have both the storm window that is operable and a screen that's operable. So you could have fresh air into that room if
Right.
you'd like and keep your dogs in.
right.
So I think there's a lot of merit to considering keeping your windows, maybe fixing them up a little bit, get them operable with those spring clips, and then do a screen storm combination. It would solve your functional problem as
Right.
far as air infiltration, get you some fresh air in there, and your dogs could enjoy the outside without doing something they
Yeah.
shouldn't.
Understood. Yeah, I appreciate that.
So the image you show at the bottom,
Mhm.
that's, is that an option you're,
That's an option we're considering.
oh, I
Mhm.
see.
I saw some homes that had that as well, and I showed my fiance, and she kind of liked it too. So our kitchen has the grids too, so it would match what we
Mhm.
replaced there too.
Yeah, I mean, I guess for me, looking at that as a proposed option, I think the fact that it has the grills, I think it does work a little bit better with the house myself.
Yeah.
Um, not having the same proportions as the original ones, but at the same time, it is the picture window and it's a little bit different architecture, but I would be okay with that one. If
Okay.
that's something you'd consider.
Yeah.
Is there a way to get a hierarchy to the grills to maybe have a thicker center one?
Mm.
I don't know if that's
I was
I might
kind
be
of
speaking, I might be like completely off base.
I'm-
I'm asking.
I was just kind of going through that in my head, that if you were to do kind of like Chuck's suggestion, and instead of having double hungs, just go with a thicker vertical down the center,
Mhm.
and then have a grill pattern that mimics the 3/1 double hungs.
Mhm.
That would be about the same as far as getting light in there.
Mhm.
And it would have more of the rhythm that the fenestration has now. You know, I don't know what the cost implications of that would be, but, you know, that would kind of be a combination of your proposed third option here, and then just rearrange the grills a bit to make it look more like the original. I don't, you know, I'm just kind of thinking out loud. Y'all
Right.
may like that or
Yeah.
not. I'm just.
No, that makes sense. I think it would be a question of, can that even, can the window manufacturer do that?
I spoke to our window guy today, and he said he could add grills, no problem. He just said, let us know what we'd want to do. It'd be a couple $100. I don't think that's too big of a deal. I'd rather do that than do the double hung.
Yeah.
Or if you do two
Two casements.
fixed or two casements, where then your thickness in the middle is
Yeah.
just the two frames, which are
Yeah.
just knowing how Pella or Marvin work. This can be a lot thinner than that current
Mhm.
median bar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you went with two casements, I think that center bar would be, that center mullion would be too thick. It again, be out of care, it wouldn't help you in that
Right.
regard. So I agree. I think maybe a fixed with, a bigger center mullion.
So a fixed window with with a thicker, so you're saying one fixed with a thicker center?
A thicker
Vertical?
Yeah,
Yes.
and then on each side of that vertical would be grills that would match the appearance of the existing double hungs.
Right.
Mm.
Can he do that?
That's why I was saying, I don't know if there's cost implications or if they can do that or not.
I mean, I know
If you said
Marvin.
Two fixed windows.
Well, that's what I thought. And then Chuck was on a different angle than I was.
Well, when you say, because I agree with two casements, it's gonna end up the same situation.
Yeah.
But two fixed windows, I mean, you could get a mullion that's 2 inches thick instead of, looks.
Right, because casements have the frame plus the sash.
Yeah. So
here
you're just
we're-
talking about mulling together two fixed,
Yeah,
basically.
Yes.
Right,
Yeah.
so you'd probably have a
you could
2.5,
probably,
3 inch sight line.
yeah, just have a fairly small one, just
Yeah.
two fixed windows with
Right.
upper
Yeah.
mounted grids, whatever.
Yeah,
I
that
think
would
the
work.
casements, the center mullion would be too thick.
Thick,
Too
yeah.
big. It would be the
Yeah.
same. They might as well,
Right.
then they
Right.
should just stick with what they got. But
Right.
if you did the fixed windows, then you would get that piece without them trying to figure out where they get that.
Yeah.
He's got a great contractor. I think he'll figure it out.
So,
Well.
So two fixed with then a horizontal and then the 3 over 1.
Yeah.
Would be a way to go.
I mean, you said your guy said he can do anything.
I mean, he's a window contractor. He's done good work for me.
Okay,
My 2 projects.
all right.
Well, I do know, I mean, I've worked with Marvin a lot, and I do know that you've got 2 sizes of mullions. You can go that big and that big,
Mhm.
So
Right.
I imagine the other manufacturers are the same thing, so.
so I think then the proposal would be that if you could get a single fixed window with a thicker,
Two fixed.
Two fixed
that are
windows.
molded.
that's the other option.
Okay.
If they can do it with mullions on one fix
Oh, okay.
applied.
Can I just do the single window? I mean, if you guys say no, can I not go through with it? I'm just wondering, what are the repercussions of?
We have to
Yeah,
vote.
I think we're just trying to work with what you gave us. And I think some sort of grill pattern is what we're trying to get to if you would agree to that.
I think we'd consider it. I just feel like you guys are making it a little more complicated than it has to be, and I get your guys' position. We kind of have it in our minds. We want to do it either the second or the third way.
Right.
And if we keep adding these more additions, natural light's not gonna come in like we're hoping for. So then I just wouldn't touch the windows. So.
Yeah.
Respectfully, I'm not trying to be.
We're trying to get to something that we would approve for you.
Right. So if you guys didn't approve it, we can't move forward with.
That's correct.
So and that's what I'm trying to get at. So with the bottom, you were basically showing that you would, you would
Consider.
be willing to consider the grids.
Mhm.
So really the question is, would you consider grids? I'll just show you the sketch. I mean, if you want to look at this. But it's basically, those are the grids instead of that grid like that. It's a grid that it's more similar to the existing, but it's just one fixed so I think that's what's on the board. And that could be that's a question for you. If it's just one fixed window with those as the mullions, or it could be 2 fixed windows that are gang, that way you get the thicker center, if that's something you would consider. Uh-huh. Gotcha. Yeah. Got it. Okay.
And I guess the question is if you do go with the one single fixed glass with a center vertical, how wide can your window guide get to that,
Right, I'd have to ask.
to make it visually thicker than the smaller one?
Yeah, because personally, I don't have a problem with approving the last one on your sheet.
Okay.
And I think if you could thicken up the center, I mean, I could vote for that.
Okay.
Personally, I would feel okay with that. I don't know how everyone else feels.
I prefer the two fixed, although that would be the non-starter for you. But I want to see if it is a single, how much of a hierarchy we can get between the center and the adjacent ones. Because right now, as drawn, just with all the same thickness of
Right.
muttons,
It loses the effect.
it loses the effect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right, so do we want to make a motion on any of this?
I just have a question for the board and I guess for the applicant. Did you want to have a conversation with your window rep to refine more of what is possible? Just to, so we can continue to work towards something that is feasible.
Yeah, no, I know the
Yeah.
grid system is feasible. I spoke with him today because we had that idea. I showed him kind of an idea of what I've seen across in our neighborhood. So I know he can do it. I don't want the the grid to be too thick because then we're not doing what I'm trying to accomplish here. So that bottom picture, I think, is about as close as what we want, where it's not eliminating the light coming into the home. Anything more than that, I would probably just keep it as is.
Mhm.
I think most manufacturers come with, I think they start with like a 3/4 or a 1 inch
Mhm.
grid. And then I do know like a 2 inch is another option, but I don't know if that's too thick for you or.
That's
Yeah.
pretty thick compared to what we'd be
Cause
looking
what is
at.
it now? It's probably a good 5, 6 inches.
Excuse me?
Right now, it's probably a good 5, 6 inches.
Oh, yeah.
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 Because you have the center mull and then you also have the frame around the double hung sash.
Mhm.
So that would, that goes from being about like that. And then when you take it down to the 2, it's going to be less than half of
Right.
what you have now.
Right.
And then looking at your bottom one, you would basically be eliminating the center grill at the bottom portion. So you would, in a way, you would actually have more light, because you wouldn't have, you can come
Part of
up
the
here,
grills
yeah.
wouldn't be
see if
there.
you- Because, like these grills, like these guys down here would not be there. That would be open like this. So really, if you go to the slimmer center here, about like that, and then just have these verticals, that's more light getting in than what you've got there.
Right.
Because those grids at the bottom part are eliminated. And this cross up here is eliminated. So, I think you're really, I know that's just one of your considerations is your light. So I really do think that this is a viable trade-off to get you about the same amount of light, maybe even a little more than that.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Still kind of think it looks funky to me. Like it's basically kind of looking the same as what you have up here. It's a little skinnier, but like I just don't think that would be enough for me to make the change. I would just keep it as is. I appreciate you.
So you don't want to do that, is what you're saying. So okay,
So that bottom picture is kind of like my last thing that I would do. And if you guys didn't agree with that, we would just keep it as is.
Right. Yeah, so we could make a motion on the bottom picture and see how it goes. So, anything else from the board? With that, then may I have a motion? Sorry.
13:30.
I didn't flip yes, 1303 Belton.
I'll make a motion to approve 303, is it 303?
1303 Belton.
303 Belton, based on the elevation proposal submitted this evening, the lowest picture on the submittal.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Opposed.
Nay.
Opposed?
All right, so there's your result. And then I guess that if you have any other questions, you can follow up with the city.
Thank you.
All right, have a good night. All right, next on our list, I got my papers out of order. Here we go. 675 West Lockwood Avenue, detached garage.
Hello, my name is Randy Winzen with Alliance Studio. I'm the architect for this project.
Welcome, Randy.
Hey, Randy.
I've been here a few times already with you guys.
Yes. Welcome back.
Thank you.
All right, so we're looking at revisions, basically changing the dormers on the north to a shed
Right, on the backside.
on the backside, and then the garage doors changing from 2 singles with a little bit different light to a one single width in the straight.
Right, originally it had a 1 double and 1 single. And then the first design got rid of the double door and we had a single left and they said, we'll just put another single in. And then they came back and decided, Well, we'd rather have a double because it's easier to get our cars in and out, so.
I don't think
that's
there's
really
any,
the whole reason behind that.
makes sense.
And the reason for the going to the dormer on the back, which I know is the big pile of contention here, is Laura wants to use that as her art studio. And so she wants as much natural light as she can get up there. And she didn't feel like she was getting it with just the 2 windows that we had up there. And so she asked, can you give me as much glass as you can up there? And I was like, well, there's really only one way to do it. And we're really at the edge, we're at the limit on our square footage up there based on the FAR calculations. So we didn't change the floor plan at all from the original one. All we did was just widen up, because you can't do a traditional dormer up there because you'd just be adding floor space that we can't do. So basically I just brought the walls straight down and they're cut into the roof, and I gave her as much glass as I could and still make it structurally sound. So, and I guess from their eyes, there's not many people that can see it. And so they were hoping they could do it.
Yeah, I have no issue with the dormer itself. And when she's wants as much, is this truly facing north?
Mm-hmm.
Would she want only the north light, or would she want consider like a tubular skylight or something that would allow more different colors of light in?
Well, we
Um,
just have we have 2 dormers on the south side that let light in from that direction. And then we have, well, actually only one of them because one's in the bathroom and then the other one is in the room. And so they were only getting the light from the one side. Our roof situation is pretty tough at this point.
Yeah.
Just because we had to actually raise the walls a little bit just so we could get some more headroom in there and make the space even usable. So over time, this is kind of just the way it played out now.
Yeah.
I know that putting a shed on the back is not something that you guys really were wanting to see, and we had gables on the back before, so it really just came down to more function than form on this one, so.
I'm not opposed to the shed in general.
Mhm.
I think I'll let Angela speak of the window style. I think was your
Now, we
concern.
can put, mullions or grids into the window to match the front, no problem there. I didn't even think about that. They just wanted picture windows, but I can easily show you what it would look like if we put the grills in.
Yeah, I think the grills will help,
Mm-hmm.
the architecture, and trying to tie the whole,
Right,
because as I look at this, it just seems a little bit out of place.
right. And I'll try and
Comment-
keep them all to the same size
Yeah.
as the ones on the front too.
And the comment was before is that, we like the dormers look good. you know,
Right.
But we understand, what the issue is and what you're trying to do. So,
Right.
but I think we need to come to some kind of an agreement as to how to treat these windows so that
Mhm.
they are more compatible with the architecture of the house.
Right.
One thing that might help a little bit is making it almost like a series of windows. You know how now it's 3,
Big
More
ones, making
square.
more smaller ones,
make them more. a
maybe
little bit-
5 smaller ones instead of 3 big ones, something like that.
Yeah, and a little closer together, so it looks like one big set
Mhm.
of windows.
Yeah, I'm trying to get some
Might
structure down
work.
in between them so we don't have one big massive header going across all of them. But if I can get them close enough to still get that and still make the look, I don't think we're ever gonna get it to look like one big window without putting a, huge header across the top of
Like a
those.
4x4 between each window. or
Right,
something like
right.
that.
Yeah.
Right now, I think I have 3 or 4 2x4s between each
That's
one.
it.
Yeah.
There you go.
And there's an individual header over each window. So 2 of the studs go all the way up and the other 2 or whatever, they're jack studs that hold up the headers.
Got 1 king and 2 jacks or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I guess with the other windows and being, the proportions are very vertical.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mhm.
it's not like they're even close. But on the
Right.
front there, you have one where, the windows are, the panes of glass are very narrow. I appreciate you maybe don't want that exactly, but that idea of sort of the.
Getting them more
repeated-
vertical and get more of them in there than just the 3 big ones. Because if you shrink
You
these
could
down a
put a
little
lot
bit,
of
they're
weight.
gonna look more vertical if you shrink them down.
Yeah, I mean, you could probably put 5
Right.
and
Yeah,
then that by
that are
itself would
vertical.
already look more vertical
Okay.
instead
I
of the
think that's
3
a
thick.
good idea, actually.
So.
She'll still get
that-
a good amount of glass and light in there.
Yeah, and then with the mullions, I think that would tie it together.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So is this all fixed glass?
Yes, none of it's gonna be operable.
Okay.
All right, so I mean, I would think you just do what you're doing on the front. Would they be 2/2 or 2/3? I'm not sure.
I think it's it's just 4 lights on the
Yeah.
front, so
Yeah, I mean, I think that,
I might be able to get 6 on these because they're taller.
yeah.
And
no,
that
it
would
makes-
have them relatively the same size.
Oh, yeah, those
Right.
skinny ones have.
Right.
Yeah,
I don't, yeah, I think, so.
Put 6 each. That would make it also give it that.
exactly. But what I'll do is I'll redo the elevation, show this and send it back in and you guys can tell me what you think.
Well, I mean, I think we could make a motion on that change and then you submit the change to the city.
Okay, all right,
Seems easy. I know.
okay.
Yeah, no, I think because that, to me, I appreciate the, the architecture from the inside out and the reason for the change. So I think this is a way to tie the elements together.
Give her what she wants.
Yeah,
Would also tie in the space when you're in there, like.
Right.
Seeing all the windows
Mhm.
with the mountains on them is matching. Also
Right.
feels
And
better
it's not
from
like
the
she has
inside.
like a mountain view in the background or something like that that you know what I mean?
Right, this
Yeah.
isn't a
There's some
a
pretty
view
big
view.
trees
This is-
back there, and that sort of thing, but you'll be able to see those.
okay. Great, well, with that, I think we can just make a motion and from somebody, please, 675 West Lockwood.
I'll make a motion to approve 675 West Lockwood with the understanding that the 3 fixed pane windows will become 5. Is that 5?
5 minimum.
Minimum windows so that they're more vertical in proportion with grids, approximately 6 light grids in each individual window.
Right.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, Randy, you're approved as
All right,
noted.
thank you very much.
Appreciate it. All right, next we have 501 Oak Street. Good evening.
Just using the laptop for my submissions. Walter Parks, I'm the owner, and I was, if approved, I'm gonna put the fence in myself. I was here for the prelim discussions and I heard you talking about the color. Totally, if approved, I would be totally fine with that. I get it. And wouldn't even be trying to throw this before the board in the actual front yard. I'm on a side yard. I mean, I'm on a corner,
Right.
but I know that legally that's considered, or by terminology, a front yard, but it's a side yard on a dead end street. So myself and another resident way down at the dead end are the only 2 people on the street. We have a lot of flow, pedestrian flow through on Poplar. And I just didn't want to put up one of the approved designs that sort of completely blocks, the visual of neighbors passing and so on. We just wanted to have a more inviting kind of feel. And just to be clear, it does butt up to, I looked at what I submitted. I didn't send you a picture of the fence that I would be butting this up to. And it's chain link. It's ugly, but fortunately for me, it's covered in ivy completely. And I was trying to encourage some ivy migration into this new design. That's why I was thinking about wire. I would also, if you approved, immediately put up some plants, maybe arborvitae or something that wouldn't completely block it, but for the time being would add some greenery there. But I think it's a great suggestion about the black, and I can find some stock to do that with. If y'all would stipulate that, I mean, if that were the stipulation, I can find the stock for it, or I won't do it, or I'll come back and use one of your approved designs, but I'd prefer to do it this way.
Is the existing chain link fence right past the end of the?
It is. You can see it on the tip of that page that you have. What's that titled? I think it's.
Yeah, where the ivy is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
It was the
please
distance.
pardon my rendering. I don't plan to, it's going to be in cedar wood. The frames will be cedar as consistent with the examples that I sent of my ideas. But the rendering where it shows the step design doesn't show the cedar, but the examples, it says
Right.
target aesthetic concept for blah, 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 Oak Street fence. It does show the wood framing up
Mhm.
there.
Yeah.
So anyway,
So
it's
it will have I mean, it will have a frame
will
around the metal
definitely.
grid.
Yeah.
absolutely.
And it would
yeah.
either, it would either silver out over time, or if you seal it, it would stay red longer, but.
Oh,
ultimately,
yeah, I mean, if y'all have a stipulation on that too, I can,
We
you know,
don't.
whatever the cedar, I mean, it'd just be like any other wood fence, you
Yeah,
know,
that's-
that's natural.
Right, it'll
But,
gray out in
yeah.
time.
But anyway, it's really 30 feet in distance, and I'm puzzled as to why there's not a fence there. When we bought it, it was just open, it's gaping, but it's kind of odd.
Yeah,
But anyway,
okay.
I really detest chain link fence. I think I was just trying to do some kind of a wire thing that was consistent with that. I mean, if I had to wait for those vines to grow completely over a chain link fence, I think I don't know what I'd do. But there are other world problems. So
Mhm.
anyway,
All right,
Okay with the black.
oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Like I said, I think it's a good idea. you know.
yeah,
And I have online, I've seen the stock, it's available.
right,
know,
welded wire,
so-
black.
Yeah.
Coated. Okay, well, I think we could make a motion based on that.
Yeah, and yeah, again, it's
Sides.
specific to the location. It's not,
Yes,
you know,
exactly. All right. Thank you, Walter.
thank you. Okay.
With that, can I have a motion on 501 Oak Street?
I'll make a motion to approve 501 Oak Street as submitted with the understanding that the welded wire fabric or the mesh infill would be a black coated or finished material.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Aye. Opposed?
Thank you.
All right, you're approved. You're welcome. All right. Now we have 15 Euclid Avenue.
Hi, I am Brad Peterson. We've met before.
Hi.
And
Hi, Brett. Welcome back.
I sent you an abundance of information about a week or so ago. Thank you for your comments. I did address some of those and created a red line set so we could start pulling some of that stuff together. And I apologize for some omissions or from some discrepancies in some of the drafting, but again, I've created another red line set for those to pick up some of those things too.
Okay.
All right. And I know you had a few questions about one of those was to find the size of trim at the windows, probably be 3.5 to a 4-inch size trim that brackets around the window to mimic a 2x4 size.
Okay.
Finish on, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Finish under the porches, there'd be an infill, not a 45-degree lattice. I'd be looking for more something that's a vertical lattice. It's not that typical kind of 1-inch stuff, so something a little bit more.
So some of the porches are poured concrete, some are wood.
Mm-hmm.
The wood porches would have a.
The wood
lattice?
porches would have more of a vertical trellis underneath with probably a 1x type of frame.
Okay.
See what's up. The porches we could address with the stacked stone, the kind of seam stacked stone that's coming running around the front of the house.
Okay.
You had a question about the site plans. So the civil site plan that was on my title block is the arrangement of the houses and the first floor plans. I'll need to get back with the civil engineer on his plans because he's got a number of plans with drainage and utilities and things coming up, and he has some of our basic houses that we had that were more generic houses from before. So he needs to he needs to get from me the foundation plan so he can set those in place on his.
Okay,
civil
so
plans.
he's still catching up to the.
He's still catching up, yeah. So he had to do, the civil drawings to get the utilities in and out. So there's one of those drawings that's in there. And you can see some are coming down the sides and then some are coming between four houses that are set to the west. And I think the sanitary runs under the driveway on the east side. So I'll get him a foundation so he can set foundation, top of foundation according to where the elevations of grading on the site. I think those are the only questions that I saw in the email. Some the stone returns, I agree. We'll take them back to, I think in some places we can take them back to the fireplaces, and then some other places we can take them back to the edge of the garage doors.
Yeah, yeah.
So they're just
yeah,
not
and I
kind of
think there's
ending at
one
that
where-
typical 2 foot in space kind
Right,
of thing.
and I think there was one where like it returned, and it wasn't clear if it wrapped the full depth of the porch by the front door or if it stopped. And I think it would look nice if it did return.
Yeah, inside the porch. Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I put some of that stuff in my red lines, so.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, house one is an example of that.
Mhm, mhm. And then I did coordinate some of the missing windows, and then I added in some of the redlined in some of the windows that you guys had requested. Kind of fill up some of the space on the.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of my comments, just as a general, was, nothing specific, but it seems like any bedroom that could get a window on, if there's two walls, at least one window on each wall, is, beneficial, I think, from the exterior and certainly interior as well. So I don't know if that specifically was one of my comments personally. I don't know if you saw any issues with it, but I think it'll help with a lot of those blank
I went
sides.
through and picked some areas where I can. I think if I could take the bedroom windows and push them closer to the corners, so you
Mhm.
can still get beds and dressers. So you still have two walls for furniture left.
Yeah,
As long as I can do that, we'll get them in. Then we'll
Yeah.
try to line some of these things vertically around on the elevations too, so they're not so haphazard and kind of make more sense, but we have some sort of sense of some vertical alignment, so.
hmm okay.
So I didn't make this comment in the comments that Mara gave you, but I don't know if you heard me say it earlier. Something, well, I guess we're talking about the sides and the front having a bit more to them, because I said something about the columns being, each one's different, which is nice, but yet there's something about it, and maybe it's that also the way they're turned, right? There's going to be a lot of seeing of all the sides by everybody. So to see maybe some of it go around the building a bit more like this, I know it's a spec home thing to do, to put stone across the front and not put it anywhere else. But it would be kind of nice if the whole thing, kind of got the same feel a little more. And I appreciate you're probably not going to do that part, the stone, but, and I guess the windows will help. Adding some windows in some of those locations will actually help that not look so much like a blank side. But I don't know, there's something about that. Like, I guess the columns, I'd love to see the columns done something more like the traditional columns here in Webster, rather than the columns that are the tapered spec home.
Not the Craftsman kind of things, yeah.
Yeah, that are not like houses in Webster, right? So, use something that looks like Webster Gross instead of something that looks like the
Chester.
kid of parts of the Craftsman,
Yeah, we had some columns in there that had some reliefed panels and things in them. They weren't just like square columns, they were more something with a little bit of relief to kind of look like that trim and stuff.
Yeah, I guess that'd be kind of nice.
Or
I'm
even-
not, I would not.
Or even maybe a turn spindle, maybe. I mean, more.
Yeah,
around.
right. Something that's just a little more like the community here would be kind of neat
Okay.
to have those sorts of details if you're just gonna add, you know, you're just adding them in anyway. I mean, not that you
And
aren't.
they need a
or-
column there anyway, so. Yeah.
So, it's just a thought, really. These houses, we've got a lot of homes that have these here too that are new. That's fine, but just a thought on these houses. So I like this complex that you're doing so far. It's kind of a neat thing to do, and I think for it to have an interesting character
Mhm.
will certainly add to it. And you could do that without any additional expense. It's just which one you choose of certain things, right? So,
Yeah, yeah. And we'll work on the stone and the wrapping. It's always a difficult thing, you know. I mean, you
Well, to
typically see
tag
this-
on to what Angela said about that, on your house 3, on your side elevation east, number 4, you did turn the corner with the stone, but on some of the other ones you didn't. So there's, you know, an inconsistency, I guess, as to how you're detailing it. If that detail for house 3 is only applicable to house 3 and not the others. That's, you know, but I think the point's well taken is that, and we don't want to see that thin little strip at the end there. If we can turn the corner. And one of the comments, I think David made a comment about running it either to the chimney or somewhere where there's an area where we can block or stop it. That I think it'll look much better. So-
Yeah, most of them do have the chimney, but then you got
Right.
the other one goes to the
Right.
garage side, take it up to the garage.
Yep.
And possibly go to the other side of the garage door, just to wrap.
Yeah.
Like you said, maybe there's 3 sides of the house instead of
Yep.
4.
Yeah. Yeah, I think those, attention to those kinds of details and just bringing the consistency, obviously y'all put a lot of thought and work into the front elevation, but just kind of bringing that consistency around to the other 3 sides of each of the house, I think that would really help pull things together a lot.
Mhm.
You know, obviously you're not going to have the same level of detail on the other 3 sides, but the fronts have been so thoughtfully done that I think just those subtle little changes to bring consistency around all sides of the houses would really enhance the overall appearance. And I appreciate how hard it is to try to bring up 6 houses at once and try to make them look different, but not the same and related. And, you know, it's, yeah, you just kind of have to put the house DNA in there and tweak things. And I do agree that Craftsman columns look great on Craftsman houses, but if it's not one, that would not be a thing to do. If it's not a Craftsman house, the Craftsman column, I think would be a good thing to skip. So, yeah.
I wanted
that's
to,
it.
I wanted to make a comment about some of one of the garages has a roof projection. And I wasn't sure what the thought was, above the garage door. I think maybe one of them did.
One of them did. It was kind of a fleeting last minute, late night thought to take up. Some, you've all been there.
Right.
To kind of take up some of the real estate on a block.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's above the garage and then there's a living space up above that. So there's really, I need to do something there. You know, I thought maybe a projection to move some of the wall over from the actual,
Yeah.
opening of the garage might be helpful.
yeah, and it adds, 'cause you do have then that
Well,
part of the wall that then it adds a little interest.
yeah, no, I like that. I didn't know, if there was any consideration given to the back door. I know, like you have some sliding doors. I don't know if you've thought about any projections there. That's a functional aspect that you could add to the house that, you know,
We
would,
could explore some awning type features, you know, even if it's not an
Yeah.
enclosed roof space, maybe there's some awnings.
I mean, it's just a thought because I think that's the kind of character that, is really functional.
Mhm.
obviously, and then add some character to the other sides of the house as well. Um, All right. Well, I think, at the preliminary review, we're going to see some revisions. So we will table this one, for a full vote based on the comments we've made tonight. And then when you resubmit, we'll have a chance to review for the next,
23rd, I think, is the next Thursday. We'll have, is that the soonest I can get revised drawings in? So that's the next.
Next Thursday, the next deadline.
Oh, deadline.
right. So that would be the plan, I think. All right.
So in order to get final approval, we have to have all of the site and everything coordinated also, or is that more of the technical submittals?
More technical submittal. What? Sorry, go ahead, Mara. Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yes, exactly. I mean, that's what I figured. So getting the elevations all corrected
Yeah.
is what's, I think, for us.
Uh-huh.
And if there's still issues with the site, you can work that out with the city.
I do have some streetscape elevations if you want them. I know you asked for them. I didn't have them done in time.
I was seeing a composite of,
Yeah, it's kind of a composite. I didn't add trees or anything, but there's the front tree and then the back. At least, instead of having to lay it all out.
Thank you.
The nice thing about them is there's a lot of distance.
Yeah.
5 to 6 foot. Setback.
so this faces Euclid or this faces Euclid?
They all face forward. So these are the three in the front and these.
Oh, okay. Got it. I do like how they don't all match the same height.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nice variety.
Yeah, the roof
Shape
line
and
variation is
character.
nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, it's interesting. I like that.
No, I like the variety.
And there's more space elevationally between them than I thought on the site plan.
Right, because I looked at an older site plan, I'm like, I don't know, I thought there was
Yeah,
10.
when you look at the small site plan, everything looks like it's
Yeah.
scrunched together, but then when you actually lay them out, I think there's 50 feet between a couple of those houses and 23
Yeah.
is probably the
Mhm.
closest.
Yep.
Okay.
Great.
Right?
Thank you.
Sounds good. Thanks for your time.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, with that, the meeting's adjourned. Thanks all.